Crack open that bottle of wine. Grab your favorite glass, pour a couple of fingers of scotch in it. Get that stick, light it, and blow. It's time to hang with Steel Sharpens Steel After Dark.
Hey, Sharpies. It's me, your favorite host. Anyway, welcome to another episode of Steel Sharpens Steel. I am your host for alone at the moment, Joy Stevens. Our other Wonder Twin will be joining us momentarily. He's having some technical difficulties, which means I'm running the show. I don't know if he knows what that means when you let me run the boards, because I do it, I won't. But I'm glad to have all of you in the studio today. Wanted to give another shout out to the one person who beats us in here half the time and is never late. One, Mr. Anthony Turner. Hey, Anthony, good to see you. I want y'all to know the show started at 8-ish. He left this comment at 6:25 p.m. If you want to beat Anthony into being number one, you're going to have to roll up in here yesterday. All right. Anyway, so just let that go. Strive for number two, like my girl Marie J. Hey, Marie. Good evening. Good evening, fam. Good to see you. Glad to have you. Miles, I am unsupervised. I like it this way. I will do what I want, and it's my show. So let's get started. I want to talk about. I have to take a deep breath when I think about this. I want to talk about the first 100 days. We just passed that milestone. Some of us, myself included, thought that by the time we got to 100 days, there would be no more democracy. And I'll be damned if he ain't tried. He has tried, and you know who he is. He shall not be named on this show. One, because I don't like him. And two, I don't want it to get tagged and have them come knock down my door like I'm some undocumented immigrant. No, and I was born in Houston, Texas. But apparently that doesn't matter anymore. We are headed headlong towards fascism. And yes, I am surprised that we are still alive. I have been planning in the back of my head since early 2016, like before the election. I have been worried about what would happen. And here we are, 100 days into his second term, and his approval rating is the lowest that any president has had since they started tracking it. And yet there's still about 30% of the people that give him an A for what he's doing. And that's the 30% that says they don't care what happens to anybody else as long as the people they hate hurt. If they got to burn for you to burn, they'd rather us burn together because they just don't want to see anybody else be happy. And so I'd like to welcome my co-host, Tom Cunningham.
Hey, everybody. Sorry about the late start. I had a firmware update on my camera, and it was flipping out. And now it's zooming in and doing all sorts of stuff I don't really want it to do, but that's okay. We go get through this episode. So indeed, there's finally this person who has been removed from office, and this is the critical part about the first, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's not going to be the last.
One down.
And the reason it's not going to be the last is that it's never the last. No. You can look at the last administration. He went through 4 different chiefs of staff.
How many press secretaries? 3?
It was 4, I think.
4.
Because we had Spicer, right?
Mm-hmm. He was my favorite.
And then we ended with McElhenney or whatever.
Her, yeah.
But we also had the current governor of Arkansas,
Huckabee,
Sarah Huckabee, and Scaramucci was in there for like 10 seconds.
That's right. I forgot about Scaramucci because we were doing the whole Queen.
Right. Scaramucci, can you do the fandango? So at least 4, and maybe another interim one after Scaramucci. Mm-hmm. And the point is that everybody who works for Trump mm-hmm. eventually doesn't work for Trump.
Right.
And usually you become embittered because Waltz gave up a congressional seat mm-hmm. to become national security advisor. Now, he should have known that he was not qualified to be national security advisor.
Well, enter
So,
the audacity of a mediocre white man. They all think they're qualified for everything. There is a collective, and I say collective because there's always outliers. I have several friends, personal people that I know that are not in this group, but there is a collective Dunning-Krugerness to white men where they believe because they are white and male that they're capable of anything. They all believe they're capable of greatness. And this also feeds into the idea of white supremacy because I'm white. Of course I can do this. It can't be that hard if these Negroes do it. It can't be that hard if these Chinese people do it because I'm white and I'm better. So I must be better than them. It's one of the reasons they freaked out so bad about Obama, because how dare the leader of the free world? That's a white job, right? Black jobs is, you having fun with this camera?
I'm trying to stop it. And it won't stop. And so I'm just trying to get it to stop.
Welcome, Phil. Good to see you. But yeah, as I was saying, it's if it's a good job, if it's something that requires talent and smarts, they think that they just have good brains. Anybody that says I have a good brain beyond the Hamilton musical, I don't believe you. I just don't believe you. Because most people will say I'm highly intelligent because we have 3-letter words in our vocabulary instead of good brain.
Yeah. I mean, we were talking about this off show, and it seems as though there are several categories of people. Thank you, Phil.
Right. All you have to do is like have some jazz.
It's the Mo Better Blues of it all. There are different categories of people in the Trumpverse, right? So you have the true believers. These are people who, like
30% they give him an A.
Stephen Chung, who will do or say anything to promote Trump because they actually believe in who Trump is. They are not only drinking the Flavor Aid, they are making the Flavor Aid, they are adding the poison, they are doing everything. It's like, no. I don't mind that bitter aftertaste. No, you're good.
Right.
Just
vitamins. It's vitamins. It's good for you. It's got stuff people need.
Right. Then you have the people who are barely self-aware enough to know that they're only here because of Trump. And so therefore they've got to kind of play the Trump game because they know dance with the one that brung you. You can't get done beyond what you are doing right now if you don't ride his coattails.
Right.
Then there are the people who actively dislike him but are afraid. Lisa Murkowski, McConnell, all of the people who left Congress.
Yeah. They just decided about, I'm not with
They
him.
just decided about, so that's your Romneys, the Kinsingers, people like Cheney actually got removed from office because of him. So they actively hate him. And then you have people like Rand Paul. He doesn't think Trump is a smart person. He just knows that Trump is the party right now. And so he's offering some critiques that seem measured and reasonable.
He's trying to ride that line.
But he's not going full crazy. And all of these people, except for the true believers, and maybe that second tier of people who know that they're completely obligated to Trump, but even that group, the other groups besides the Stephen Millers and the Stephen Chungs, and Caroline, all of those people who are outside of that epistemic bubble, and the cabinet and Pam Bondi, everybody else knows that this is a shit show.
Right.
They realize it, but they are caught.
Right.
They're frozen. They can't do anything about it because they've staked everything on him being the guy.
Right. It's a bunch of extras with their first speaking role on camera, and they're not giving this up for nothing.
Well, I mean, they're incapable. Somebody like Comer or somebody like Jim Jordan thinks he is the director or the person who's pulling the strings or who is an independent thinker. They don't even realize that they're day players.
You're right.
So because they they are self-aware enough to know that the only thing they can't do is cross Trump.
Mm-hmm.
But
beyond that,
on the other side, they're hearing from constituents, and they don't like that their constituents don't like them.
right?
They're scared. They were afraid of being primaried, but now
They might just get ousted altogether.
on their own. Hello, let's be clear, folks. The prime minister candidate on the right side, on the far right side of the Canadian elections, not only did his party not win, he didn't even hold his own seat. So that's extra bad.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't even get your seat back. Not
Right.
only are you not prime minister, people disliked you enough because of your embrace of Trump, your tacit embrace of Trump.
Yeah, because they see what it's doing here, and they're like, we don't want no parts of that. Oh, did you say maybe he's not that bad? Now you go, you too.
Oh, no,
you got
it's
that
a
because
wrap.
you with him. Mm-hmm.
And look, Carney, the current prime minister, he's saying it's finna be tough.
Mm-hmm.
These have been our best friends.
But now that's something that is different between every other country that I can think of and the United States is their ability to come together at a national level.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it is due in no small part to the fact that we are more ethnically and racially diverse than any other country on the planet. And so we fight with each other because we don't like each other. Whereas you take Great Britain, there's like 3% Black people there. It's 12% here. And maybe 2% Asian, and then like Latin is not enough to speak of. And so they've got 5% minority. We're rocking at 40% over here, 8 times as much, right? And so when you think about universal health care, the idea of, well, I don't want those people to have it, it's such a negligible amount. Here you're talking about half. And so people react differently. And so our desires are so different, all rooted in the fact that they don't want melanated people to have anything, but they want us to give them everything. You take that out and you got a more cohesive constituency. And that's what you have in Canada. And so they're willing to come together and sacrifice, similar to what Greg Abbott said about Texas. But then Texas turned around and was like, fuck, you thought, like, yeah, we're willing to die to not be on the power grid. They're like, excuse you. I live in the Panhandle and I'm on Arkansas. I'm on Oklahoma's power grid, so fuck you. But Canada's coming together. China has said the same thing. They're like, we're going to lose 15% of our exports. And so what? And the thing about China, the thing that's different, first of all, even as an American, I do have love for the people of my country. Howsoever, China is when it comes to the trolling that they're doing. But they have spent all their time. Wait, Sam is watching us from the party bus. So last week's guest is now on a party bus somewhere watching us. Thank you for tuning in anyway, right?
And thank you for making my dad stand up and take notice, because he was like, who is that guy you had on the show last week? I said, he's a longtime Sharpie. He just came on the show. So that was awesome.
But while we have been running around talking about pull yourself up from your bootstraps, I got mine, you get yours. If I make it, sucks to be you because I'm great. China's been over there like, okay, yes, we have some forms of economic capitalistic levers in our economy, but we're really about everybody. So when a factory loses some of its exports, they're like, all right, well, the government's going to subsidize the money that those people need to stay employed.
Right.
Or if another factory shuts down or something else shuts down, all right, so we're just gonna add people to the Parks and Rec team. Y'all get out there and shovel something because we're gonna keep you employed. And their measure of success is how many people are employed, not how rich is one guy in Seattle or whatever. Right over here, we actually. That whole Schadenfreude thing of being excited when somebody else fails, or at least I got more than them, and we don't come together. It's one of the reasons we struggle, even in our military, in that people don't want to sign up for that. One, because it's not mandatory, because some of them are, but two, because I ain't down for y'all. I ain't like y'all, and that is the American standard. So Canada deciding, we may not have previously thought as much of the more liberal candidate, but what we now gonna do is that shit America's doing. So no to you and your whole crew, right?
Well, and the thing about China, because there's so, in retrospect, so much has happened this week that is
Wow.
absolutely crazy. But I sure will, Sam. China's trolling is not just trolling, it's just facts.
Yes.
China has been around for 5,000 years. 5,000 years. This country isn't even 250 years old.
Right.
But even if we were, China has been around 20 times as many years. 20 times 250 is what gets you 5,000.
To make a sinner's reference, they got socks older than us.
Listen, socks, chopsticks, soy sauce, pots of rice, everything.
So here's the thing about deportation. He can put people on a plane against their will and send them anywhere he wants to send them if the country will let them off the plane wherever he's sending them. That is not deportation. That is exile. He is exiling people. Yeah. Because deportation means they send you back to your home country. He's not even doing that with the illegal immigrants. He's just sending them to El Salvador because he had to deal with that guy. And hats off to Mexico for being like, oh, y'all doing some dirt. We're not working with y'all. Tariff on El Salvador just because. Right.
And that's the other thing. You know, China decided we see the writing on the wall. And if you think you don't want our goods, everybody else does. And also, they're being so petty. You can go to China. I don't know, Joy, have you ever been to China?
Not yet.
Okay. So when I went to China, it was a whole thing about getting a visa. You had to go to the Chinese embassy in your town. So for me, luckily it was LA. So there's a big ass embassy. You had to go to the embassy, wait in line for like 4 hours. The form wasn't that crazy, but you needed a letter from a Chinese citizen, which I had, and you needed to fill out all of this paperwork, and then you needed to stand in line, and then you needed to pay your money, and then you could get the visa, and then you could fly. China just said, oh, hey, Americans, you can come to China for 240 hours. That's 10 days, visa free. Buy all you want with no duty, and we'll give you cash back on your purchases.
That's better than American Express.
We will give you cash back on your purposes. And the super troll, there is Caroline was at the podium talking trash, you know, terrorists, blah, 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 and China is going to give up. They brought on a woman, they green screened a Chinese woman wearing the exact same dress and said, thank you for spending $800 on that dress. But Americans, if you come to China, you can spend a lot less money and get this same dress. They also said, yeah, we used to, if there were people selling bootleg stuff, you'd have to go. It was like crazy. You'd go into the regular swap meet market, and then they'd like knock on a door, and you go into this dark little thing, and it's like, am I going to lose a kidney? What's going on? But that's where they had all the bootleg stuff. They're like, oh no, come everyone, see me, love me, take my things, everything. They got a dude saying literally, we make the Birkins here.
Yeah.
The Birkins are made here. It's the exact same leather, exact same thread, exact same buckles, everything. The only thing you don't get is the Hermes label.
And
you
I want
a Birkin for $80.
And I want to add on to that because they've been nice to us this entire time because they viewed America as an ally of sorts. You know, a trade partner. And now we want to cut up. All right, fine. We'll cut you right out the deal because they've never put all their eggs in our basket. They've always had alternatives. And I've seen people saying, well, they make stuff, but they assemble stuff. They don't manufacture anything. They don't have the raw resources. But you know who does? Africa. Now, what have they been doing for the last 15 years? Cultivating their infrastructure in Africa.
Oh, much longer than 15 years.
Yeah. And then Mexico is like, yo, y'all can cut through here. You ain't even got to go through the Panama Canal. We can take it right north of there is a nice little truck line. It only takes maybe a couple extra hours and y'all can be up through here and on the other side and on to Africa and back. And so they can cut America out. There's also a pathway between China, Canada, and Russia. If they really wanted to do it. Like Russia is land connected to China. They can just run a train through there. Pause. But they could just use a current land transportation.
You know what I literally thought about? And I don't think it's something that Trump even has in the back of his mind.
Of course not.
But we got Alaska from Russia. And Russia took the Crimean Peninsula first and then started to invade Ukraine because Ukraine used to be a part of the USSR. Trump is behaving like a punk. We have no immediate way. I mean, we've got some ships, I guess, we could deploy.
They could take Alaska back if they wanted to.
They could take Alaska back. All that salmon, that oil, they could take Alaska back. And as a former half-term governor once famously said, I can see Russia from my house. And so,
the other part of that is we don't have a way to effectively stop them because Canada is not going to let us run troops through their land.
Nope. So it's all naval. We don't have enough vessels. If Russia decided they wanted to airdrop troops, what's he going to do? He's not going to declare war. He's the guy who wanted to stop wars. And while you're talking about taking Greenland, while you're talking about taking Panama, while you're talking about taking Canada, who's going to help you? So this is a very real possibility that is on the table right now. And if y'all think that Putin is not waiting for an opening, don't let anything happen to the president of the United States. Don't let him fart too hard. Don't let him trip and bump his head. Don't let him do anything that injures him because Russia is waiting. And I don't know. You don't even have NATO anymore.
Right. And here's the we have no friends. We have no friends. And like Sam said, they got us out here looking like Boo Boo the Fool.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
7.2 million for that. Yeah, that's nothing. That's nothing.
And it costs us $1 trillion to buy Greenland, but it would be worth it. Okay. Okay, bro.
And another thing that I'll tell you is if that came to pass and Russia took Alaska back, that tips the scales on the world energy and oil economy. All of a sudden, gas is gonna be $10.
Listen.
Overnight. Wait, Phil said they paid 7.2 million, and he's like, that's too much.
Well,
that was in like 1800s dollars, though.
Correct.
1900s,
so it was early the 1900s. And I mean, the point is, we are not in a great place right now.
No,
we simply aren't. And okay, see, Sam is just now catching up with the feed. So
I do what I want.
I do what I want. Who gonna check you, boo? So right now, while our national security advisor is falling apart, all indications are that Hegseth is spending the vast majority of his work time trying to find and stop the leakers. He's doing polygraph tests. He's doing this. He's doing that. And when he's not,
he needs to look in the mirror. Why is he doing polygraph tests? You know who the problem is. Ask yourself if you're lying.
So not only is he doing that, he's spending the rest of his time doing push-ups with troops because apparently he's that superstar guy and all the troops want to do push-ups or do deadlifts with the Secretary of Defense. Sure, Jan.
That just aggravates my soul.
It's really horrible.
Because what it means is they have no plans, they have no credibility, they have no honor, they have no integrity, and all they can do is photo ops. That's all we have. And none of that is going to protect us. And this is what I've been trying to tell people. I don't, I'm a big proponent of equal rights for all walks of life. That being said, it doesn't matter what walk of life you in if they nuke the shit out of us. And I know that there's going to be this. I know people are going to say that nuclear war is always mutually assured destruction and that they wouldn't do it. But you forget that the cabinet is now loaded, not with people who are qualified, not with people who have spent time understanding what war really does, not with people who even understood who controlled the nukes in the country. Because remember when they fired all of them and then had to go get them back? The cabinet is now full of people who care about your well-being. It's full of people who want to win today. Very short-sighted, very anemic idea tank, if you will. And so I can see them thinking that it would be cool, or we're going to own whatever country they decide to launch on, and we're going to do it. We're going to strike first because we're tough, and they can get us all killed. That's my fear. Anything else, we can weather the storm.
Well, the interesting thing is that in addition to us not having any friends, in addition to Russia's encroachment and existential threat to Alaska, in addition to the Bukele drama with Abrego Garcia.
Right. And apparently he's rethinking that deal because his own people getting in his ass. Yeah. Yeah. It's called protest. Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't like that. And the other flip is that yes, not Tim Walz.
Mike Waltz.
Mike Waltz was the first guy.
Mm-hmm.
But Elon is on a really slippery slope. And I don't know if the Sharpies have heard, but Tesla opened up a new CEO search.
Wait. I got you right here. This was my feed when I opened up to see what was going on for the day. Elon Musk admits Tesla's imminent collapse and seeks urgent exit. I run out of options. Democrats could win the first Texas Senate race in 33 years. Mike Waltz finally pays the price as Trump finds a sacrifice for Signal fiasco, and Tesla board starts process to remove Elon Musk as CEO of the company. That was all in one day.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And I shared something that was actually broadcast on Twitter in 2022. Elon Musk doesn't have a science-based bachelor's.
He doesn't have any. He is not the technology genius. He
doesn't even have a real degree. He has a degree that was cobbled together by some other rich folks who were like, oh, he's got to have a diploma from somewhere.
He got a Temu degree. Yes. Yeah.
And speaking of Temu, I'm sorry, we're bouncing all over the place, but this is just like the administration. We got to keep going.
You never know what you're about to get.
Temu said, yeah, the 145% tariff is a lot. We understand that. But you know what you don't get tariffed on? Local goods. And Temu's like, every single one of y'all that has a warehouse that has received Chinese goods, we need you to go into your stores. And now if you go on the Temu app or you go on the Temu website and you have purchased and you are an American, it pushes local suppliers to you. So you can't get everything that you're used to getting. But if they were going to charge you $65 for the 8 pairs of socks that you thought you were going to get imported from China, they will route you to a local dealer so you can pay $8 for the 8 pairs of socks.
So Temu is supporting small businesses better than the government.
Better than Trump. Because these businesses are at least on American soil. They may be owned by Chinese merchants, but they are here and they've received the goods. And so they're American goods, basically, because they got there before the tariffs. And at least for the time being.
Yeah. If you send me a microphone piece and a microphone stand and I put it together, it is made in America.
Yep. And so you've got a whole new range of things that the Chinese government via Temu is still pushing. And guess what? With Jeff Bezos kind of backing down on showing the tariff impact, which I don't know how long that's going to keep, because quite frankly, people who are shopping on Amazon, which I used to shop on Amazon a lot, I'm not shopping on Amazon right now. And after the way they treated me at Amazon Fresh, I'm like, I'm never doing that again. So
Yeah, you could just go to the grocery store.
you can just go to the grocery store.
And Sears is still around. Costco. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
Costco's still around.
Oh, Costco is my jam. I was
Yeah.
not going to Costco as much because I live alone, and so it seems like a lot. They have some options for you folks at Costco that are amazing.
You know how you see those old white people wearing like Polo and Nike and all the other like some name brands? Yo, they got Levi's and Polos and Pumas and stuff up in a big wooden bin in Costco. They might be last year's, version or whatever. You might be getting the 2019 Jordans, but they in there, right? And it's
not 2019. Costco got new stuff. Stop it.
I got my last 2 pair of pajamas out of Costco for like $11 a piece.
And guess what? The liquor is legit.
I haven't even gotten to the liquor yet.
Listen.
I got stopped by the pastry aisle, and then I ran out of space to carry stuff in my hands, so I had to go home.
Listen. Costco is proving, and all of these complaining weirdos on the right who are all of a sudden anti-business. If a business decides to cross their savior, now they're anti-business.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Costco wine. They got the point score on the wine bottles.
Wow, nice.
They're like, stop
check that out.
Oh no, 93-point wine, 94-point wine, da. You can get everything you need at Costco.
If you got it at Target or Amazon, Costco probably has it. Definitely Target. Yeah.
And the TVs are cheaper.
Yes.
Just so you know, they had a 98-inch television. Now, granted, it was a Chinese brand, TCL. However, that 98-inch television was $1,300. 98 inches.
That's only $14 an inch.
That's what she said.
So
we're living. I just learned this. I don't know if you knew this, Joy. I just learned. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
Yeah.
Do you know where the origin of that phrase is?
The Ben Stiller movie.
That's right, Zoolander.
Yeah, Zoolander. Yeah.
That is the first time, and I also learned that the term bucket list did not exist until the film The Bucket List.
Yeah.
I had no idea, and I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. And going to China to buy clothes was not on my bucket list because I've already done it. But God,
that shows you how far we've come. Because I remember when people used to come to America to buy clothes.
Absolutely.
Folks would be all through Miami, all through the East Coast, just buying up stuff so they could take it back home. And now they go to China because the world has cut out the middleman. That's who we were. Mm-hmm. And people don't go get me a $200 Birkin, right? I will. I don't even do purses like that. But for them prices, I mean, if you consider the cost of the flight to get over there and everything, it's about a wash. But I can come back with 4 instead of 1, But
also, it's a real trip. Mm-hmm. China's an amazing country.
Yeah, you can go and pick up the real culture and everything and have some good times. And
the subways, guess what they don't have on the subways in China? Trash
and pizza.
People urinating.
Right.
No. Clean, beautiful, efficient, run on time. They've got a skyline in Shanghai. I mean, I've been to Shanghai and Beijing and Guangzhou, and the Alibaba headquarters, and Alibaba, you don't even hear about Alibaba no more because Temu just done took it. But
I will say Alibaba has some great quality stuff. I did a sweatshirt, a zip up hoodie for my Spelman class, and I had it made on Alibaba, and I sold more than I expected. We had to do a reorder. People asking me if they can get it with their year on it. I'm like, no, it's 95. Sorry, y'all ain't live like that. But when I tell you that thing is high quality, no complaints. It's what I would have expected from, something made in the USA without all the bullshit that I get from like American people who want what I got for $37. I got a heavy winter zip-up hoodie with a satin bonnet liner on the inside for Black women's hair with all the embroidery and everything across the front for $37 FOB for me, which means free on board. That's what it costs to get it here.
Right.
I would have had to pay easily $70 a pop for those in the States.
And
before tariffs.
The dude was saying, listen, bring 2 days of clothes in a backpack. Buy a bag when you get there. And then check the bag with your stuff. And he said, I'm global entry, so I don't even go through all that foolishness.
Right. Better yet, I'm buying me a suitcase while I'm over there too and pack it on the way back.
That's what he's saying. I mean, I was thinking ahead and saying, well, if I don't want to get caught up, because if they see that I'm leaving with a backpack and coming back with 2 suitcases, then it's probably going to trigger something, at the very least, an inquiry. So I was like, I'll pack some clothes I wanted to give away and pack them in a big ass bag, throw them out or donate them.
Right.
And then put my Birkins and whatever else is going to be in there and come back like, what? What do you mean?
Right.
No,
this is the same weight I left with.
Exactly. I'm good. What you want? Isn't it clothes in the bag? It's a bag. It got clothes.
Right. It's a bag full of clothes. There's no tags on anything.
I mean, what do you want? I wore this stuff.
I wore all this stuff.
You get to take pictures on the Great Wall of China. You know how great it is to go to another country? My great uncle said traveling is an education. China is a place to go. It should be
5,000 years old. Older than Jesus.
Right. So
how do the Christians reconcile that when they think the world is only 2,000 years old or 2,025 years old right now, but China's like, we're 5,000 years old? How do they just ignore that?
I mean, they are ignoring the Constitution.
I'm drinking wine out of a jelly jar because I'm practicing for when I have to make my own hooch. I need to know how to make this look refined. Here we go.
You didn't make it in a toilet, did you?
Not my toilet. No. No, this is the same box wine I've been drinking since we started the show. But I put it, I put it here because I was like, I want to see what it feels like to drink, to try to be elegant in a jelly jar.
It's giving sinners.
Exactly. That was my goal. I wanted to feel sinners. Yep.
And speaking of sinners, I have seen it for a third time.
Me too.
I did make it out to the 70 millimeter IMAX screen that we actually have in Los Angeles, which is at Universal City Walk. Universal City Walk wants to charge you $35 to park. But if you go there to see a movie and you purchase your ticket in advance, there's a barcode in your email confirmation and you can scan it, and then parking is only $5. And if you park and haven't bought your ticket, but then you buy your ticket, they'll give you $30 at the box office. But still, it's a big old screen. I will say this was the only showing of Sinners that I saw where the house was full. I actually had to buy a spot for a wheelchair, and it said, you do realize that this seat doesn't have a seat. And luckily, because I almost lost my foot, I had a wheelchair, and so I took it. But seeing it in a full crowd, absolutely packed to the gills, and it was 377 people because it was a real IMAX. And the digital IMAX theater that I usually go to only holds like 130 something people.
Yeah.
So to almost have 3 times the people in there, all of the moments that are laughs hit harder. All of the moments that are hit harder. Everything was just amazing. And I bumped into Uzo Aduba while I was there.
That's so cool.
It was just so Black, just knowing that this amazing Black actor was there. I don't know, she was with someone, but to know that I was watching this movie and appreciating this movie with an amazing actor like that was just the icing on the cake. And she was a very gracious person. I just told her that she was amazing, and she was like, "Oh, thank you." So it was very nice. It was a super duper, very Hollywood moment, and that does happen if you're in Hollywood.
If you're in Hollywood, yeah.
Right. But it was like As soon as she walked past, I was like, "Is that what it's gonna do? Is that what it's gonna do?" And then when she came and like was walking right toward me, I just couldn't resist. I was like, I'm not gonna ask for a selfie or anything, but I just need to let her know that I know who she is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna say, "Are you?" No,
No.
you're amazing. You should know that. And thank you. And she walked past, and I took my,
That was a little pimping. That was a little riz on your part, Tom.
you know
I
what
ain't
I'm
gonna lie.
saying?
Yeah.
Because
Nice.
I mean, what
Nicely
you gonna
done.
do?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Shoot
Just
your
keep it
shot.
cute. Because, well, the thing is, she was just there to see the movie, right?
Right. She wasn't there to do a press junket or to be
She
interviewed or
wasn't.
to
If she were
do
in
fan
the
service.
movie,
Yeah.
right? If I bumped into Wumi Masaku now, I don't know if I would have been able to
You'd
be.
still be with her.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
can I
Please
take you
understand that
somewhere?
if I bumped into Michael B. Jordan, it would not be a mistake. And there would be one of those, oh, I'm so sorry. How many fingers am I holding up? Yeah, go to sleep. Come on with me. Come on with me. Don't mind him, y'all. He just had too much to drink. No, this is not Michael B. Jordan. This is my cousin. And just be out.
Somebody said there's a Michael A. Jordan and a Michael B. Jordan in Sinners.
You know what? I know we talked about this last week, but there's another reason that I think that his performance is worth some level of Oscar nod, because he made us believe he was two people. There's like people talk about like what Lindsay Lohan, people thought she had a twin because of the Parent Trap.
Because of Parent Trap.
There are people right now that are going to see this and swear Michael B. Jordan got a twin brother, because everything about them was so different. And for him to do that with the body doubling and everything, I saw a video that said like the part with them passing a cigarette, they filmed it like 11 times and got it picture accurate.
Well, they had literally a crane that was motorized, so the crane would move the shot would move exactly the same way every time they did it. And Cornbread did a little talk, and he said when they did those scenes, Michael would have to wear this thing, a halo that had cameras all around, so that every time he moved, they were capturing where he was going so that they could make it exactly the same every time. And they had to shoot it multiple times as Smoke, and then they'd shoot it as Stack. And what an awesome achievement.
Yeah.
Just folks, if you haven't seen it, Thunderbolts has moved it off of most IMAX screens. And by the way, it's
saw coming that back to IMAX again. I want to say May 15th or something like that. Like they're re-releasing it on IMAX. I guess
they are.
Yeah. I just saw it was a bit. Michael B. Jordan posted it on Instagram. He's like, "We're coming back to IMAX. The people have spoken and we have heard you."
Well, I will tell you, I would be very surprised, because every show, and I went yesterday, every show at the one true 70 millimeter IMAX at
May 15th through the 21st is getting a re-release in most major cities. Yep.
And that tells you something, folks, because that says they know that it is not leaving theaters. This ain't gonna be one of them things you're gonna get on video on demand. I gotta tell my mama now that I know people protesting outside the gates of Fort Huachuca. Damn, for real.
Tell us more about that.
Let me look that up.
If you want, we can invite you if you want to come on the show real quick and just talk about it.
Yeah, you can. Come on. Come on, Cletus.
Like Samuel did last week. He's like, "Hey, I want to jump in," and we just sent him an invite.
We sure did. We'll do that right now.
But
emergency response incident.
What happened?
It says migrants detained in a 170-mile extension of Arizona's Fort Huachuca face new criminal charge. So I guess.
How you commit a crime while you in jail?
So they are saying that they breached a national defense area. Wow.
Read it out loud, man.
Okay, so here we go. This is from KJazz. KJZZ in Phoenix. Immigrants recently detained in southernmost New Mexico.
Just read it. Don't do that.
A novel criminal charge of breaching a national defense area after the U.S. Army assumed oversight of a 170-mile strip along the southern U.S. border in cooperation with immigration authorities. Federal prosecutors on Monday applied the additional charge for incursions into the recently designated New Mexico National Defense Area against migrants detained by the Customs and Border Protection as the military scales up troop deployments to a sliver of U.S. borderlands that is now being treated as an extension of U.S. Army Garrison Fort Huachuca in Arizona. So you're detaining people at a place that you put them, and now you've reclassified that place, and now you're charging them as having an incursion in a defense area that you created.
You know what this reminds me of? Yeah, Phil, I just check your Facebook Messenger. I just sent you the link. But it reminds me of Ferguson, Missouri, where they had, but way before the Mike Brown incident, they had beaten up a man so bad that he got blood on the uniforms, and they charged him with assaulting an officer for getting blood on them. It's that type of shit.
I just want to say, Sharpies, take a cue from the Sam and Phil playbook and get yourselves together. Drop us a DM if you want to come on, so we don't have to do this game. Drop us a thing. We'll send you the invite before the show. Thanks, Sam. I'm gonna tell my dad you said that. So while we're waiting on Phil, drop a note in the chat if there's something that we haven't talked about so far that you would like us to talk about, because when Phil comes on, we're going to let Phil talk. So if there's something that you would really like to hear our commentary on this week, please do so, and we will chat it up in the chat. We stay on top of most things just so that we can do stuff like this.
Have we exhausted the Elon Musk story yet, though?
I don't think so, because one of the things that's kind of like a side piece to this, Elon Musk is coming under fire for all of these contracts that he's seeking, quote unquote, while he's trying to scale down government.
Right.
So you're replacing all of these other vendors with your own companies, and that's drawing attention. And now the Tesla stock, how you gonna get fired on your day off? Basically, is what Elon's close circle is saying. Bro, you got to get back to Tesla, baby. Ain't nothing going on Tesla. Right. Tesla is sliding into the ocean, and yeah, we've heard. Thank you. We've heard a lot. Oh, the judge being arrested is something that's happened since last week. And Pam Bondi clearly doesn't understand what the Constitution is, because she's like, if you are a judge who's separation of powers, hun. It's separation of powers. And you arrested her on this trumped up charge, which actually she was not in violation of.
No.
Because that guy who was in her courtroom wasn't on the street.
That part. And he wasn't a criminal. He was there to try to get his stat. That's the thing that's really pissing me off more than anything else, is this idea that everybody who comes into this country is an illegal alien. No, They are people looking for asylum or looking for citizenship. And when you tell them, come here and do it the right way, those are the ones that are actually in the justice system. They're in the court system because they're trying to get their case heard. They're trying to get their visas. They're trying to adjudicate whatever they need to adjudicate. And they're being arrested for being illegal when they're trying to do it the right way. What you're saying is there is no right way. The minute you step foot over here, you're illegal just because you're brown.
Yeah, right. There's no right way if you're brown. And one of the things that's crazy is on that exact point, there's a guy who came over here doing everything right, living with his brother. They were looking for somebody else, pulled him over and said, oh, well, we got you now, so we're just going to take you. And his brother's like, no, we look at this paperwork. We have a court date and everything. Like, he's here to do this thing. And they took him. They're sending children. They sent a 4-year-old girl with an American father and an undocumented mother who was receiving cancer treatments. And they shipped her out. You need to tell Phil he needs to be on Chrome.
I'm not on Chrome.
Are you on your phone?
No, I'm not on my phone, but I'm not on Chrome. I'm on my computer. But I just sent it to him. I texted it to him and I sent it to him over Facebook Messenger. It looked like it
Oh,
didn't go through, so I'm just sending it to him a couple different ways.
oh, okay.
Mhm.
And okay, Sam, I will take this up. Oh boy, thank you. Boy, the Sharpies are on top of things. So
Mhm.
this was a quick one. They are pulling over truckers at way stations. And can you read this?
English, yeah.
Can
I
can
want
you
them
can you can you write this?
take that shit to the Appalachian Mountains and see if they can read.
Listen. What is it? 13% of Americans, like white Americans, can't read.
Right. And we're not
So
talking about that 8th grade level shit that the average American is. We're talking about illiterate.
and guess what? If you know what a stop sign is, you know the green is go, and you know what a speed limit sign is, you know what 55 means or 75 means. That's what I need you to know. I mean, it'd be helpful. I mean, once you're getting off the exits and everything, but that's what GPS is for. And GPS says turn right now.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to know how to spell none of that.
You sure don't.
Mm-hmm.
And
if you don't know what the words mean on the sign, exit in 200 feet.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Turn right in 200 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And so there you are. And guess what? I don't think it's a part of the Constitution that you have to be literate to be a citizen. I mean, it's a good idea for sure,
Yeah.
but I don't think that's a requirement for citizenship.
But actually, it's funny that you mentioned the literacy test, because that was one of the first things they tried to do to stop Black people from voting
Yep.
during Reconstruction. And that's where the phrase grandfathered in comes from.
Yep.
Because if you wanted to vote, you needed to be able to read something or study or do something along those lines. And it was a new thing that they introduced to try and stop, because they knew a lot of Black people were illiterate. So they're like, well, you got to read this in order to be able to vote. But a whole lot of poor white people were illiterate too. So then they passed the law to say, well, if your grandfather could vote, then you can vote too. So it absolved all of the mediocre white men from even having to know how to read. But Black people had to know how to read and had to know, like every mayor for the past 100 years, and had to be able to recite parts of the Constitution and had to be able to list the whole Bill of Rights, all that stuff. Meanwhile, white folks just had to be related to the right person. That's the same nepotism we're dealing with nowadays.
And another of the questions that was, Sam posted this one about the articles of impeachment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm not mad that the Democrats got it together to file articles of impeachment, but I have to say they miscalculated with the person that they decided to allow to file the articles of impeachment. And here's why. I saw the video. He is a man of East Asian descent. I believe his parents or his background is probably from India.
Yeah.
And to hear him announce these articles of impeachment, sounding like a foreigner and looking like a foreigner.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish it had been a different messenger. I hate that the country is like that, and that is the way it has to be. Mm-hmm. But it would have been better if Swalwell had filed the impeachment article.
Yeah. Oh my God. Why are you doing this? My stomach already hurts, man. Don't make me laugh.
You know that I love you. Right. I can't help myself.
Impeach Donald Trump.
I mean, and I was just like, as I was watching, and he's going through all of the articles, and I'm like, this is a very long video that is hurting.
Right, because people are not going to want to listen to that.
You're just not going to want to listen to this because you're speaking with a thick accent. You don't seem like you're an American, and I know that you are.
But I know why they
damn it, Dems, what are you doing?
I know why they did it. And this is where the Dems get themselves in trouble behind trying to cater to too many voices, because they needed someone who wasn't volatile. So they couldn't first off, they needed someone from the right department, the right group, house. to do it. Then couldn't have anybody too volatile or too polarizing that already had a reputation. Then it couldn't be anybody old because nobody wanted to see old people. Nobody would have believed Chuck Schumer if he came out with that. So that didn't matter. So then it needed to be someone relatively unknown. So let's find an unknown. And it couldn't be an unknown white boy because then we're going to say, why'd you give this unknown white boy an opportunity? And all of the people, all the minorities are going to be mad. Could have been an unknown black because, oh, here they go with the woke. They had so many people to try to please that they pleased no one.
No one.
And that's what happens over and over again. They get too caught up in the minutia. They overthink it because, of course, all the neurospicy people are in the Democratic Party and they overthink it to death. And then they come through with this over-engineered response, which ends up being tone deaf, right?
And also, why would you even, I get it, unless you know that you had 10 votes or 20 votes on the GOP side of the aisle, why would you even go through this exercise?
He looked.
And if it was just going to be a goofy exercise, then find any white guy to do it because you know it's going to fail. If it's a protest statement, then just push anybody out. Put Moskowitz out there. Put Raskin or somebody. Do something that if it's going to be a thing, at least make it. And Moskowitz is probably better than Raskin, but do it with he is the loudest nominally white guy who is on the Crockett team of just talking trash and taking it to Trump all the time. If he
why not Pete? Well, Pete couldn't do it.
No, Pete couldn't do it. I mean, because he's not in Congress.
Right.
We're heading towards a situation where maybe by the midterms you could do it. You got to figure out some other way. 25th Amendment, something. You got to figure out something else. You have to get some real teeth on something because right now, and he listen, it's not like the charges are bad charges.
No,
they make sense. The whole emoluments with the Trump coin and all that other sort of stuff and everything.
He violated a edict from the Supreme Court. That alone should have him removed from office.
I mean,
they wanted to impeach Obama for questioning a decision that the Supreme Court made. Ironically, a decision that they made that has led us to where we are now. Well, when they started allowing all this campaign money to come in from different places, he's like, I don't think that's directionally right. I think you opened up a can of worms. They wanted to impeach him for criticizing their decision. Right.
Something's going on with Phil.
Phil, I don't know what you're doing, Robert. I've sent you. Let me try it again. Let me send something else. Hang on. Copy. Don't look at me like that, Phil. Ooh. I'm trying, bro. I'm really trying to help.
Here, give me his email address.
That's what I'm trying to get to is his email address. Because I didn't email it to him, but I'm gonna try now. But I don't know if I have it. Phil. Oh, I do. There we go. Link.
You know that's my face. We're gonna make this happen for you, Phil.
Yes.
This is an after dark party. We're already an hour in. Can you believe that?
Not looking like,
I mean, I didn't want to go there, but it was a very as soon as he opened his mouth.
It was giving Bobby Jindal.
No, Bobby Jindal sounds American. If you're washing the dishes,
he
Bobby
sounds
Jindal
voiced over is what he sounds.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying.
Right. And
this guy doesn't sound, I mean, it's giving Apu.
It gives our opposition party the chance to say, we told you they're letting immigrants make all the decisions. Look at what they're doing right now. We're questioning his citizenship. He can't even be run. They're going to try all of that because they don't need logic or facts to create a flurry in their base. All they got to do is say which, and that's all it takes.
Not which. Oh Lord!
All right, we Piyushi, what?
Piyush?
Oh,
yeah, Piyush. Bobby Jindal.
Okay, because I really was sitting here like, what is that? A new word for the coos? Like, what is that?
There was a guy while we're waiting on Phil to kind of get it together because Sam is trying to give him tips.
Right.
Um,
I emailed it to you now, Phil. Check your Gmail account. One of these gotta work.
there's a person who did a reel about the 3 freakiest moments in Sinners.
Yes.
And he started off with Miss Annie and your body hasn't forgotten me, or your body,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
And then oh no, there were 4.
There were yeah.
At least 4, because
Good
Mary
God.
got 2.
Right. Right. So he started off, I think, with your body, and then he moved to Sammy, yeah, being real thirsty for what's her name?
For Perline.
Perline. Then he went to Perline crawling across the floor. Then Mary had the top 2. One was he said the coos. He's like, I can't even. He couldn't even.
I'll get a content strike, so we can't do it either for that same reason.
But you've seen Sinners, so you know
the train station,
right? And then the number 1 was, so you can rob trains and banks, but you can't steal his cooch for one night. Yo, that was game. Like he said, if a woman said it to me, we're going home right now. I don't care who you came with and who I came with. We going home together. Right
that was
now.
Bars. Mm-hmm. That was bars. And also beyond that, she really had 3, because he said, babe, you're drooling. And she said, you want some?
No, I don't count that.
Man, listen.
Everybody on the internet was like, that's a soul tie. I don't never want to be tied to nobody. I'll never need a soul tie ever in my life.
Meanwhile, I'm hoping that was like a package of aloe vera that she cracked in her mouth before she did it.
Right. Can that just be some like corn syrup or something?
Please.
Right.
Please.
I hope it was CG. Please, just don't be that. I know you like to dedicate everything to your craft, but come on.
Well,
you don't know her like that.
And to be in a vampire movie, did you hear about Michael B. Jordan's thing with blood?
Yes, it was so sweet. Well, it wasn't sweet, but there's a clip out there where
with him and Ryan,
he was talking about how much he hated fake blood, and they likened it to Ryan Coogler hates oranges or orange peels.
He goes the feeling of the orange stuff on his hands,
right? That citrus peel thing that you get on your
acidic, kind of sticky, whatever.
And then when he realized that for Michael B. Jordan, it was the same thing. He's like, oh no, I covered my boy in orange peels.
Right. Now see, Miles, listen. Oh, go ahead, Joy. You can do it. So yeah, sure. But they ain't together. Mm-hmm. She got a whole fiance. And I know her fiance was punching like Cuba Gooding Jr. in Boys in the Hood after Morris Chestnut got shot. Just like, because damn, your woman is all up in this man's grill.
But
it's a lot.
So there is a difference between like there's moisture in your mouth and you're kissing in his tongue and all that kind of stuff. But even then, so confession time, full disclosure, I'm gonna tell you a story. When I was 13 years old, I was a little girl, but I got my first kiss from another little boy. We had Six Flags or whatever, and I'm about to be my first kiss. And when I tell you, this boy came towards my face and then proceeded to lick all over my chin and nose and mouth. I had never been kissed, and I knew that was wrong. And from then on, I never liked wet kisses. Swallow before you come over here, right? Why are you all la? What? I don't even like people like eat. I don't like seeing like spit when people are eating, or if you lick something and there's the drool, the saliva, all of that is a no. I don't like to see people spit on the ground or none of that. Why would I want you to spit in my mouth? That's nasty. It's disgusting. It serves no
really
purpose.
a whole subgenre of a very specific kink. So I mean,
right. And so I'm not knocking anybody's kink, but don't be like, oh, it's normal, because no, it's kink. I don't eat ass either.
Putting your tongue and all that, and yes, that it's moist. Thank you, Sam. When I see like that gob, that drool, I'm thinking loogie. Like it's not. That's not the same thing.
No.
It's not. No.
Let's get off of this because this is making me sick. This thing about.
Yeah, well, Phil, I'm sorry. We're gonna have to maybe do a test run and get you in
Mhm.
here some other time. But we certainly Six Flags or whatever, Six Licks apparently. Um, I
Yes, dog jowls. That's what I think about. Like Cujo, the whole rabbit frothing mouth. Don't bring that over here. Don't bring
well,
that to no parts of me. I don't want that nowhere on me.
right. Yeah,
I
it's a
don't care if
lot.
I walked here or not.
But let's be clear. Um, please go see Sinners.
Yes.
Please go see Sinners.
Yes.
And see yourself into, I mean, again, Black folks, we are still on bed rest.
We are still on bed rest. I love that.
Yeah, we're not asking for you to be a part of these hands-off movements or whatever. If you want to be active, behind the scenes, whatever, if you want to support your white or Latino allies as they do stuff, that's fine. Nobody's asking you to put yourself and open yourself up to that level of scrutiny. Nobody, literally nobody's asking you to do that. But well, there you go.
I didn't say don't put your mouth on other parts. I said don't be leaving slobber on other parts. Neither.
Right.
I don't need that.
Somebody said nothing like kissing a mastiff after a bowl of wine. Wow. Thank you, Sharpies. Y'all are the best. Y'all are absolutely the best. Phil, we're going to make it work for you. As a matter of fact, it symbolizes so much. Yeah.
For the movie. Yeah. I've seen Sinners 3 times. And if anybody wants to, is like, hey, go see it with me. Yes.
Oh,
I
I'll
will
go.
see it 1,000,000 times.
Absolutely. I will go. Also, Anthony brought up that his cousin and I will see Sinners again, which I hear Kanye is intending on doing.
What?
Seeing Sinners with his cousin. Oh, did you? No, you didn't miss it. Okay.
I hate you.
Let's talk about it. Like, here it goes. Yeah, well, there's that.
Mm-hmm. You know what? This is a good point. I did read another article this morning that said, like not just broke people, but like rich people are like hoarding shit because they're like, it's about to hit those times where all them canned goods, all that prepping, all of the other stuff you've done. It's about to get real. Shit's about to hit the fan.
Yeah.
For real. So if you remember your struggle meals. Most of our Sharpies have that college experience where you had nothing but beans and rice and ramen noodles. You made a pack of chicken last for 2 weeks. Get into
Absolutely.
it. Get into learning how to, cook a struggle meal and letting it last, stretching stuff out, put rice on everything, all of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. That's disgusting.
Okay, are we still on that?
No. There is we have about a 2-minute delay between when we say something and when it gets to YouTube and people make a comment. So I just put them up because when you see me display your comment, that's about the delay that we've got going on.
Got it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm waiting right now for other shoes to drop. Because we've gotten a lot of people of conscience. Oh, the solicitor, the longest serving solicitor to the Supreme Court, 160 something cases. And when he made his last presentation, John Roberts said, I understand that this is going to be the last case that you argue because he's retiring. He doesn't want to serve in the Department of Justice of this administration. All 9 justices stood up and applauded. And you got to figure there's only 9 of them. I mean, technically the entire federal judiciary. Mm-hmm. But as far as those 9 people, everybody knows the name of those judges. Everybody. Very few people know anything about the federal judges who are at the circuit level unless they were a part of a Trump case or the Kaczmarek guy from Texas who is a total J-hole. But these 9 people are there. And the thing that frankly scares me a little bit is that Clarence Thomas is apparently iffy on whether he might be in or he might be out. And if Trump gets the chance to appoint somebody else, the only thing that would protect is the Senate, which I mean,
they haven't done that yet.
That's a coin toss.
Now,
I will say, go ahead, Joy.
Now, here's where it goes back into the reason I titled this one down, Let's Pick Up Speed, is because everybody remembers what happened last time. He said we have the best people, and then he fired one, and then he fired some more, and then he turned on everybody, and then he would say you were great, and then say you wasn't, you was a piece of shit the next day, and then people started ratting on each other, and it all buckled like a house of cards relatively quickly from when it started. And so I hope that it happens faster now that one has been fired. Well, two actually, because he took Alex Wong with him, right? So two people have been fired. And so I'm hoping that other people see that as the beginning of the end and start jumping ship even faster. And abandoning even faster, go ahead and find another job because it's just a matter of time. And if we get that cycle going, then you got people, the whistleblowers, the people, y'all don't know what's happening in the White House right now, blah, 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 all of that to come out. And then impeachment carries more weight. And I need the cowards in the Republican Party, because the Democrats can be over here like wet chickens and say whatever they want. They don't have the power to do it without them, without somebody turning on their party from the Republican side. I need 10 Republicans to have the balls to carry through with this impeachment and pull him out of office, not just to censure and go back to work.
Correct. I mean, we are in unprecedented times, clearly. And people who are sitting there saying, but this is what we elected him for, you're lying to yourself. You did not elect him to shred the Constitution. No. You don't like brown people, I get it. But when your wives and husbands started getting deported and you thought that was not going to be possible because they were only going after the criminals, you heard Pam Bondi say, you've heard Caroline say, anybody who is here illegally is a criminal. Yeah. And that's not even correct, but that's what they're saying. And
it'll go from anybody who's here illegally to anybody who is not born here, to anybody who's ever committed a crime, to anybody who has perpetrated the crime of saying something against the president. That's where we're headed.
Oh, they're trying to give him the power to cage his political enemies.
They already arrested that judge for doing for doing her job. And he wants to do that. And the people that support him, that's where I hope that the people that are with him right now recognize that any day now they could be one of his political enemies. Right. All they have to do is say, well, maybe it wasn't a good idea. Jail. I hope they understand that. So there's so many of them. He's only one old fat guy, right? There's so many people that could stand up to him, but they're so afraid of, well, what if someone in my constituency gets mad? They already mad at you. That's why you don't hold any town halls, because they already hate you. They can't hate you anymore. And they might actually appreciate it if you would listen to their anger and get rid of the guy that's the cause of it. This seems so simple to me. I don't see why it's so hard for people to grasp, is that, yes, a whole lot of people voted for Donald Trump. And then a lot of them are regretting their vote at this moment. And they're voicing their concerns and their anger at these town halls and to writing letters to their congressmen. Listen to those people. They now recognize that maybe he wasn't such a good idea. If you stand up to him and say we're going to impeach him, I don't think you're going to risk re-election any more than you already were.
Well, and guess what? Elon Musk is not on Team Trump enough to primary you anymore.
Uh-huh.
So Moneybags is perhaps not as big a problem as it would have been if he was still in everybody's good graces, but he's not. And your constituents probably would like you to, me too. Your constituents would probably like you to show a little spine.
Right. And that's what I think.
Their groceries are high.
I can just hear this. Send him to jail.
Jail.
Yes.
Jail.
But I don't understand. I do get it. The Democratic Party suffers from some of the same inertia and boomerism as the Republican Party. And so they're over there still trying to run things like they did in the 80s. And it ain't not even the 90s anymore. It's not even the
Right.
early 2000s anymore. Your methods are antiquated, and your idea of, well, let's just stay, like people talking about, Jasmine Crockett is too vulgar and impolite. Why be polite? Why stand there and take the whipping that Marjorie Taylor Greene is giving, because she's not being polite to anybody?
Nope.
They need to start matching energy, and that's what I've seen it do more. Like, some of the protests and the sit-ins and some of the messages they put out on social media are a little bit edgier, but still, where's the punch, right? Where's the smack in the face? Where's the I challenge you to a duel? That's what we need, right? Quit worrying about what it looks like, because this is a crisis. You should be in fight or flight mode as a party, and I need you to fight. This freeze is some bullshit.
And yeah, I'm with Chan on this, about waiting for the shipping crisis when people when you could not hide the increase in prices. You could not hide the fact that just like COVID, you couldn't get toilet paper. Just like COVID, you couldn't get,
right,
these things. And people were frantic in the streets, running around like chickens with their heads cut off. And while Stephen Miller is saying, a big poor Robin clean, a big poor Robin clean. I mean, that's what we needed. We needed the real extremity, the undeniable extremity. Because right now he's saying eggs are way down, and it's just not true.
Now, matter of fact, a story just came out that said one of the major sources of eggs in the United States use the avian flu as erroneously to drive up the price of eggs so they can make more money. Yeah,
right.
This is the 1970s gas crisis all over again. It was never a shortage of gas. They just wanted to charge you more.
Man, I don't know what to say about what is going to happen, but whatever is going to happen can't come soon enough.
Right. So yeah, one down. And so let's hope that people remember what happened when the chips started to fall last time, and decide to get ahead of it and go ahead and jump ship, and then turn around and set that bitch on fire. Let's go ahead. I don't want to burn the government to the ground. I want it to go. At this point, I would appreciate early 2006 government, 2010 government, anything that was actual checks and balances.
Right. And that's what it is. It comes down to the checks and balances. These people, and this gets into that fine line between the people who actually believe / depend on him for their political lives, and the people who understand how dangerous he truly is.
Right.
And what are you going to do if you're not a supporter of Trump, Comer? What are you going to do if you're not a supporter of Trump, Anna Paulina Luna? Who, by the way, Anna Paulina Luna is one of the more brave Republicans right now. Because at least she's saying, nah, this ain't right.
Right.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Something ain't right. And we're not getting enough of that.
We're not getting enough of that.
And here come these midterm elections. Y'all are going to have, you're fundraising right now. You're fundraising all the time. How are you going to fundraise on Trump delivered on his promises when people are using their credit cards to buy groceries?
Right.
How are you going to say, look at what I did by supporting Trump?
Right.
How?
Matter of fact, how are you going to ask someone to donate when they got laid off because of his policies?
Exactly.
So good luck. Good luck, all of y'all.
Or go to hell, all of y'all who voted.
Yeah. I wish you the day you deserve.
Correct.
And for all the Sharpies out there, dry beans, dry rice, noodles.
Beans and rice will never go stale.
Beans and rice will never go stale. And in a really hard pinch, they will cook if you soak them long enough in regular water. You will get them soft enough to eat.
Listen, this is going to be the time for you to break out your instant pots.
Yes.
All the instant pots you bought when they were $39 on Amazon. You
Everybody
better go ahead.
make a meal in the pot. Get you 2 chicken thighs and maybe a leg and some rice, and throw some broccoli in there, whatever you want to get, some vegetables, whatever, and just let that shit steam, let it cook, and then just portion it up across 5 days.
And you don't even have to soak the beans in an instant pot because the pressure will cook it. So you pour it in there, you pour the water. Once you rinse the little stones out and everything else, get you some black-eyed peas, get you a piece of some smoked turkey neck or something.
This is why I'm coming to Arizona, because he got 30 boxes of MREs. That'll last us a while. Yep.
Yeah, but you won't have any internet apparently. So
yeah.
Hey, come on, Rattler. That's okay. You can always rewind to the start of the show because we are kind of winding down right now. But we definitely want to have you in the mix, Rattler brother.
Now, this is Sam's on to something that this is one of the things where you live and you learn. He said, if you haven't made a career being a politician, you shouldn't be able to come in and just be president. That is absolutely true. But that is also one of the reasons that he was so popular, is because he wasn't part of the political machine. And people thought, let's get somebody fresh and new and different that speaks their mind. And it sounded like a good idea until you realize that mind was diseased. Right. And now you got a problem. Right. And so you should have some experience, if not in politics, at least in law, right? At least have known the law and followed it, because he ain't never done that. And it seems like a gross oversight. And I think it was probably one of those things where, well, obviously not, but you should not be able to run for public office with felonies.
Active felony convictions. And the stark difference between Trump and Obama was elevated for me. I was looking at some reels, and they had a throwback reel of Obama, and there were some folks. He was at a rally or whatever, making a speech in a shirt, sleeves rolled up, and there were some people behind him yelling, stop deportations now, or something like that. And they kept yelling. And he was like, okay, hold on. No, guys, don't take them out. Let's take
They
care
have
of
a
this.
right to speak. Yeah.
They have a right to speak. And then he flipped it. He was respectful. And he said, one of the things, everybody has a right to speak, but when the president of the United States is at the podium, it takes more than you just yelling to get it done. It's going to take work. And I'm happy to do that work with you. I'm happy to support and listen and talk, and so that we can work together and make a difference. But just yelling at a rally isn't going to do anything. You got to mobilize. He said, you got to lobby. Not Jocelyn Hernandez, the Puerto Rican princess.
Get some straightening. But by contrast, every time somebody says something that Trump doesn't like, he says, get them out of here. Yeah, get them out. Take them out. Yeah, they're not American. Yeah.
Okay, I can't think of a better way, because I think this was literally among the worst things that he has ever done on camera. This week, President Trump agreed to let an ABC reporter, and this is probably part of the deal because they gave him $15 million. I don't, but it's painful to watch. But what I will say is that because Trump has surrounded himself with sycophants and opportunists, they show him things. And because, either because of blurry vision or he's just incompetent, he thinks that because it was given to him that it must be true. And so the interviewer is saying, he's asking about Abrego Garcia, and he says he's in MS-13. He says, well, no, but it's tattooed on his hands. Well, that was photoshopped. It's not photoshopped. It's like, there were tattoos, and some people have interpreted that. But let's move on. He's like, no. You're not being nice. There's a photo, and it's on the tattoo. Yeah, but that was photoshopped. Like there are symbols on his knuckles, but the photo that you shared was photoshopped to put MS-13 above these. No, it's not. I have the photo. Do you want to see the photo? And it just keeps going on.
He's just determined that it's not a lie. It is totally a lie.
And nobody said to him, sir, we translated what these symbols mean, but these things, these MS-13 are not on his knuckles. Yeah, exactly. I picked you because I didn't know you, but that's okay.
But you're being mean now.
But you're being mean.
Now I'm going to exile you.
Bruh. And I know ABC is like, we paid $15 million for this shit, right?
Nobody that has ever paid Trump for anything has gotten their money's worth.
Never.
Jeff
Bezos contributed to the inauguration. His business is tanking.
Target contributed to his inauguration.
Elon
put half his
$300 million, and he has lost $100 billion. Now, that was pretend money, but still, ain't nobody who had $400 billion who is like, oh, it's only $100 billion I lost. Oh, also my company's in the crap. Also, perhaps permanent reputational damage to the core thing that is holding up my entire house of cards.
It was the worst. Crazy. It literally, that's what I was looking for. Let me see if I can find that picture. It literally, y'all probably have all seen it, but it is the worst. They type the letters on it. I can do that on my phone. Yes.
Not even, I mean, it's so transparently ridiculous. If I had wanted to make it look real, I could have made it look real. But they weren't even trying to make it look real. It was just like a photo, like a PowerPoint. It's like, see these four things, the weed and the smiley face. So the weed is marijuana, that's the M. And the smiley face is a smile, that's S. And then you have a cross, and the cross kind of looks like a 1, so that's a 1. And then you have a skull, and the 2 eyes of the skull plus the nose is the 3. And so that spells out MS-13. No, I like to smoke weed. It makes me happy. I believe in Jesus until I die. That's also an equally valid interpretation.
I cannot find that picture outside of a video. I cannot find that picture anywhere.
Hold on. I'll find it.
But there's something else that happened that I thought was hilarious is when they asked him, let me see if I can bring that up, when they asked him if he could talk about the Declaration of Independence. Have you seen this?
Who they asked if Trump could?
Oh yeah, hang on. Let me show it to you because this is it's so awesome and terrible. Hang on.
To know anything about a president whose picture he put up. It's not fair. So let's give him something easier. Donald, tell us what the Declaration of Independence is. And remember, this is the document in which we declared independence.
Of course, you have the Declaration of Independence.
What does it mean to you?
Well, it means exactly what it says. It's a declaration. It's a declaration of unity and love and respect, and it means a lot, and it's something very special to our country.
Let me talk.
What?
I had to cut that off before we get.
I was downloading the image. So what was it? Just the guy looking astounded that he just said nothing that made people laugh?
Yes, because he looks back. He's like, what does this mean to you? And he's hearing Trump talk. He's like,
there's a declaration and there's independence and the declaration.
Love and unity. Right.
Look at this picture. Now, because these are simple tattoos, right? They've faded into his skin, right? First of all, I don't know if you have ever had a tattoo done. The worst place to get a tattoo done, other than the underflesh of your arm, is on bone. Yes. These fake tattoos, this Microsoft Paint is basically right near the knuckle or the part where there's no flesh, right? So you would be tattooing the MS and the 1 and the 3. Why would you go through the effort of doing that weed leaf with all those extra little stems when you could have just gotten an M and an S and a 1 and a 3? Why? And they don't even say what the Oh, I guess that says skull. Oh, just so in case you were wondering, the words underneath the tattoos are also photoshopped
Also
on.
fake, yes,
Just so
because
that
they're
you're
in the
clear.
same ink and font as, and whoever did this, because you know it wasn't him. Whoever did this is an asshole because they are part
Absolutely.
of the problem. You said, let
Absolutely.
me Photoshop this terribly because they could have done such a better job. Having, again, being mediocre and having no skills at doing deep fakes. You said, you know what, I can pull this off. Let me take a picture of his hand in my phone and then go into modify. And that's where you get that Helvetica text. And I'm just going to spread it out over his knuckles and I'm going to write some small stuff and then resave the picture and then send it to Trump. And he can say, see, we have a picture.
But
And I'll
see,
keep my job.
here's the worst part. I don't think any of them that shared that picture actually intended for him to believe that it was real. I think it was literally, look, it doesn't say, this is how it says MS-13. Marijuana smile, 1, 3 holes. That's what it stands for. Now, are there any number of other ways you could have gotten to MS-13? Probably. So,
I'm
like,
just
for instance, if you
realizing.
look at any Russian mobster movie you've ever seen, you see the spider web tattoo on here, and you see like the stars
You see
up
the
here on the
sickle
chest.
and
Yeah,
hammer.
all
Yeah,
these different little things. It's just like, okay, well, if you've got a big old spider tattoo, it doesn't mean you're a gang member, but it does not mean you're a gang member.
right.
I don't know. It would, what would have been useful, because you do have some real MS-13 guys in custody. If you had some other knuckles of MS-13 guys who had those same 4 tattoos, that might be something that could be convincing. Well, look at this
Right.
guy. Look at this guy. Sure. Oh, because those are 4 very weird tattoos to have. It's not like, it's a Pokemon or, it's you were being intentional. If you showed me 10 pictures of 10 guys, confirmed convicted MS-13 people with adjudications against them, and they all have that tattoo, that would be convincing. But you pass off something to this brain dead idiot without realizing he's going to take it for factual reality.
I
That's
did
your
not.
bad.
I did not think of it that way until you said it, that they probably showed it to him like, here's an example of what that means. And he was like, he's got the MS-13 on his knuckles. And they probably sitting there like, oh my God, he
What did
put
I
that on
just
national
do?
television.
And you
Yeah.
can't say, sir, no, I'm sorry. We added this in
Fake news,
PowerPoint.
you're fired. All of that.
Right. What else
I
you
hear
got?
you.
Because I want to end on a positive note.
Let's go ahead and end on a positive because we're hitting
Okay.
we're hitting at 1:30. So
Right.
yeah.
So I'm gonna stand up right now. This is, I sent Joy. Oh, it's doing a lot now. Okay. Okay. I sent Joy a link. This is a company that does Black History hoodies. And they had a buy one, get one free thing. And so this is a hoodie. It was delivered today. It's got all of these pictures of civil rights protests on it, the I am a man sign, and all this other stuff. And it's really nice quality. I think it's called like French terry or some stuff. It's very smooth on the outside, which you can imagine makes sense because they had to print this very intricate design on it. But they said it was only a 48-hour sale, but now it's all on my timeline. So I'm sure they're still offering the price. But
drop the link in the chat.
Huh? Oh, yeah. No. If you want to support Black people while we're in the midst of all of this foolishness and chicanery, it's definitely an opportunity for you to do that. Support people. You can make a quiet, you can make a quiet protest. You can do whatever it is that you want, but just make sure that whatever it is that you're doing, that you're being safe and responsible and covering your yourself and covering those that you love and keeping them safe and protected, because that's where we are right now.
Right.
We're in this very scary place, but while we are being scared, we need not be afraid.
Right.
And we can do what we can do in order to preserve this at present, very fragile
Mhm.
republic in which we find ourselves as citizens.
Right, right. You know, they say the meek shall inherit the earth, and let the boastful and braggarts go out there and eat each other alive, and we just sit back, let them do what they do, and when they're done, because I really feel like if the mayor of Atlanta like went on television and said, "Hey, don't bomb Atlanta," they'd be like, "Yeah,
Right.
we ain't got no beef with y'all." So like next thing you know, Atlanta, Chicago, Detroit, Baltimore, Houston, L.A., San Diego, and oh, and maybe not San Diego, and like and the Bronx are cool, and those become havens. Yeah, that would be awesome.
I
Just saying.
mean,
Mhm.
we could do it. We could do it.
And like Samuel said, do not get caught slipping. Keep your head on a swivel, because the next phase is going to be criminalizing. They're already trying to criminalize free speech, but we're going back to Jim Crow of loitering. What are you doing outside? Show me your
Right.
papers.
Right.
You don't have your passport on you because you was walking to the store, arrested.
Right.
Cockroaches and mice are meek. What the hell, Chan? What are you saying about this?
Okay, the brand is called Melaninful. So I'm going to drop, it's melaninful.net. So I'm going to drop that in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Melaninful.net. Go on ahead over there. They have some beautiful designs. Beautiful designs.
Melaninful.net. Okay.
Yes. So go on ahead, head over there. I'm sure you will. I mean, they've got all sorts of stuff. These were the one I had to make a choice.
The meek
of the ones-
humans. Meek
Right.
humans. Chan.
Right. So with that, I will say I'm Tom Cunningham.
I'm Joy Stevens.
And this is Steel Sharp and Steel. We'll be back next week if we still have a country. Goodbye, y'all.
Bye.